Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Coach's Corner here at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. We are live here on Heart of Ohio Sports. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, folks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, though, especially because we're getting close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I think we're about 700 subscribers now, so we're getting pretty close. So please help us out. Give us a follow. We are here at Benchwarmers. We got a couple special guests joining us here. On my right, be your left, Tiffin Columbian head basketball coach Travis Kinn. Thanks for coming on. Absolutely. And on my left, which would be your right, Tiffin Columbian Senior, Logan Beaston. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys for coming on with me. I appreciate you guys carving me out a section of your schedule here.
Yes, sir.
I know you guys are both busy.
Yeah, getting to be that time of year, but
it is.
Happy to help. You guys do a great job with everything, and we appreciate being on.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. Let's dive in. We're talking about basketball right now. So it's been a little while. It's been a little while since we've kind of gotten comfortable with basketball. I mean, March was the last time I think we were on any kind of call. March, April, somewhere around in there. Yeah. But you guys have been busy this entire offseason. Mm-hmm. Coach, I'm going to talk to you first, and then I'm going to transition over to you, Logan. I got a few questions for you as well, but feel free to chime in anytime you want. If I got a question here and you got an answer, chime in. Don't feel afraid, all right?
I'll just throw the questions over to him.
There you go. Absolutely.
He's the
yeah, absolutely. No problems. So, Coach, this offseason, you got a lot of things that you probably wanted to work on. What were some areas of focus that you guys focused on specifically in this offseason?
I just think some little things defensively, cleaning up our positioning, cleaning up, being in the right spot, being aware, seeing the ball, seeing our defender. Ball screens for us has been an issue in the past. We've spent a lot of time in our 4 or 5 days that we've had of practice so far. We spent a lot of time on that and just trying to be better on that end of the floor. We know that we got guys that can score points, guys that can run the floor. We got to get stops on a consistent basis at the defensive end. So just cleaning up some things on that end.
So you guys went 19-6 last year in the regular season.
Yeah.
You guys had some strengths. You had some weaknesses on that squad. But what do you think the strength that you want to carry over the most from last year to this year is?
I think the biggest thing is just the way that guys competed. We had 5 seniors, and we lose some of those guys. So, there's a pro and a con to that. We got some new guys playing varsity for kind of the first time on a consistent basis. But, that's the con part. But I think the pro is that they're really eager to prove that they deserve an opportunity and that they're ready. And, I think they're hungry. So that'll be good.
You got a lot of seniors to replace from that senior class last year. Talk about those guys: Bryce Burns, Jaden Myers, Cyrus Burden, Drew Vasco, Jacob Weingart. Those are familiar faces to a lot of TC fans. Who's going to be stepping up to fill those shoes?
Yeah, those guys helped us win a lot of games. Obviously Logan has been a part of that class a little bit, and now with some of these young guys helping bring them along. But we've had a really good, I think, first 4 days, 5 days of practice. Had a really good summer. A couple juniors. Obviously, everybody knows the Rogo twins. They'll play a big role. Brady Gooding and Isaac Garcia probably, are 2 guys that we're going to lean on a lot and have done a lot this summer. With that, Zach Shawberry and Jack Newlover, 2 sophomores, freshmen last year. They got, a little bit of time, spot minutes here and there. But we're really going to need all of those guys to take the next step and to really, be guys we can count on a consistent basis. Garrett Prenslin is a name people are not familiar with probably. He's out with us again after a few years off. He'll be a senior, but he's done a great job these first 4 or 5 days, and he really competes at a high level, and I think he can bring a lot of little things to our team that we lost with some of those guys that you mentioned.
Nice. So, Coach, you got some of these familiar faces that are coming back. You mentioned Garrett as one of the unfamiliar faces. Are there any other guys that are kind of stepping in that are new to the system this year?
I think most of the guys were around. It's just they're new to, we need those guys to play consistent minutes at the varsity level. And that will be new. Yes, they've been around. Yes, they played in the summer. But it's a little bit different when it comes into February and there's scouting and there's game plans and there's adjustments being made by coaches. So that part will be new and that part will be a challenge, but we're excited about that challenge.
So last year, as we watched that group kind of take shape over the course of the season, I think the one thing that stood out to me was just the grittiness. I mean, they weren't afraid to get on the floor, get dirty.
Yeah.
They were, they took charges, they took fouls. They weren't afraid to do the dirty things.
Right.
What type of team do you think this is going to be coming in this year? I mean, you had some seniors that laid it all on the line last year. What kind of team do you think you got coming in this year?
We got to be the same type of team. We got to find guys to replace, guys that replace those things and maybe not do them the same exact way, but do the same stuff at the end of the day as far as getting on the floor. That's why I mentioned defense at the beginning. Logan can probably speak a little more in detail about our first practice or so, but it was a while before these guys got a ball in their hand. It was defensive drill after defensive drill, trying to set a tone early in the season, and we've since dialed off a little bit to get some offense installed, but that's going to be a focal point each and every day in practice.
I think with this team, with this group that you guys have coming in, I don't think offense is going to be a problem. I think defense is where you want to focus, and it's a great thing that you focus on that first and foremost because, like you said, you have to set the tone early because you're building the foundations now. And when you find yourself in a tough stretch during the season, that's something you can fall back on and say, guys, we've done this. We're a defensive team. We built these foundations early in training camp. You come back to this, during a tough spell in the season, that's your identity. You're trying to build that identity right now. And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason we're doing that is a credit to the guys that we have on our roster. They've put in so much time in the gym already. Obviously, this kid has put in countless hours in the gym, pretty much sleeps there. But the other guys too are shooting all fall. They're in the gym in the spring. We do a ton in the summer, and attendance for our older guys has not been an issue. If they're not there, it's because they're out of town on a legit trip or recruiting something. Our off-season attendance has been outstanding, and that's why we're going to be a team that can score points, is because of the shots that they put up, the time that they put in the gym, the commitment level that they've dedicated to their own individual skills. Collectively, we got to, put our efforts on the defensive end of the floor as far as what we want to do and how we want to do it as a team and get on the same page.
So would you say defense is like the main focus, the one thing that you really want to improve upon last year to this year? You just want to stress that focus?
No doubt. And like you said, we got some guys that can score points. I have so much confidence in all of those 8 guys that I mentioned as far as being able to score the basketball and play their role in the offensive end. And it's a lot easier to play offense when the defense isn't set up. Yeah. So when we can get those stops, we got guys that are fast, guys that are long, guys that can run, guys that can shoot. If we can get those stops, it just makes playing offense a whole lot easier and a whole lot more efficient.
Oh, for sure. Well, we've got, I think, 6 of your games on the schedule this year that we'll be covering for Heart of Ohio Sports. We're really excited for that, Coach.
Absolutely.
Any big games that you see on that schedule that obviously they're all big, and that first one's the one you're focused on right now.
Yep.
And you don't do the schedule game like we do. We're the media. But is there any games that we should be keeping an eye on right now?
It's funny you asked that question. And again, this guy over here can attest to this. But one of the things we talked about before we even started our first day of practice was every day is a championship game for us. And if we want to check off some of the big goals that we have, we haven't even talked about them, but we all know what they are. We got to approach every day in practice like it's the last game of the season and we needed to win a league title. We got to approach the next day in practice like it's a district final game, and we got to win to get the job done. It's funny that you ask. I'm going to give you the typical coach answer, and we got to be 1-0 after we play Norwalk, and then we got to be 2-0 after we play the next team, and just take it one day at a time.
Well, I can kind of go ahead and leak this. We'll be there for that Norwalk game.
I saw that.
We'll go ahead and drop that. Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun.
No, that should be great. Open up with a league game is going to be tough. But again, I have confidence in our guys, and I have no doubt they'll be ready.
Yeah, well, we'll be ready.
Perfect.
All right, Logan, let me switch over to you. I'm going to talk to you for a little bit. So you were quite the popular guy this past Wednesday. Let's talk about that. Now, you had your National Letter of Intent signing day, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this has been a long time coming. I followed your recruitment process. I've followed the offers that you've got from different colleges, different universities all around the United States, and not just the Ohio area. You were getting looks from everywhere. Talk about that process a little bit and what that was like and just what led you to the Hillsdale program.
Yeah, it was really fun, just getting to travel around like the Midwest and stuff like that and getting to see different colleges and seeing some of the hard work pay off. But at the end of the day, the Hillsdale coaches did a great job on my visit of showing me who they truly were, building a great relationship with me over time, and at Hillsdale they just have a great family atmosphere as far as the basketball team goes, and they're really, really, really high academic school, and it just kind of checked off all the boxes for me.
So you visited quite a few other schools. You had a top 5 list. Who was in your top 5?
I had Hillsdale, Charleston, Findlay, Indiana Tech, and Mercyhurst.
Nice. And then you chose Hillsdale after narrowing it down. What was like the main reason, the one thing that stood out to you the most? Obviously, the coaches kind of sold it to you, but was there anything about campus or anything about just the university itself?
Really, just the players as well. The players did a really good job of on the visit, making a good relationship with me. I took 2 visits there. My first one, I kind of got to tour the campus and stuff. Then my second one was all with the players. And they just they were hanging out the whole time. They have great relationships with each other, and built a great relationship with me. They were texting me all the time, stuff like that. And just at the end of the day, it was the school that checked off all my boxes and that I really wanted to be at.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you had an incoming class. The incoming class that you're going to join next year, pretty solid.
Yeah.
I seen the rotation. I seen the 5 guys that are coming in with you. How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited.
Because you know some of these guys, right?
Yeah, Connor Stonebreaker, actually, he's from Versailles. He's a big man, and he plays AAU with me.
Oh, nice.
So we got to play on the same team. And then another kid's name is Mikey McCollum. He's from the Columbus area, and we actually played him in AAU this year.
Wow.
So he's a really good guard, high IQ, fits at Hillsdale perfectly. And then the last kid, I know the coaches have told me a lot about, Caleb Glazer. He's from Wisconsin, so I haven't got to play against him, but I've seen some stuff on social media, and he's really good. So we have a really good class put together, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So now you got your senior season coming up. I don't want to look too far ahead because you've got, obviously senior
one day
season.
at a time.
One day at a time, 1-0, right? So let's talk about as you approach your senior season with the Tornadoes. Obviously, you've got your sights set ahead of you, but I want to look back just for a second because we've spent a lot of time with you over the last 3 years. What are give me your top 3 memories over these last 3 years?
That's a tough question.
I know. I'm putting him on the spot, man.
I'll try to buy you some time. That's a tough one. I'm glad he got that, not me.
Number one.
I mean, you can just give me your best. How about your best memory? What do you think is number 1 memory?
Number 1's got to be against Norwalk at home.
Oh,
you on the call.
We were on the call for that one.
In the corner.
Oh, it was such a great play.
I mean, we were setting up the play, and the coach was calling it out.
That was Coach Garcia's play. Credit to him.
Yeah, he's like, lob to LJ, and we threw the lob, and the kid turned around and just got me a split second. LJ made a great pass.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That was such a great play. And I mean,
because it worked.
Yes.
If it didn't work, then nobody would have liked it.
All right, now you're right, but still, I mean, it took some guts to call that in that situation. I'm not going to give you too much credit here because this guy made the shot, but
and Coach Garcia came up with the play, so
That's
I didn't
right.
even do anything. I just said, "Sure, let's do it."
I think we were down 2, right? So
we
could have went for a layup and the tie, but
I remember
Coach trusted me.
When they were walking out to the huddle, LJ said, out from the huddle, LJ said, "Coach, am I supposed to score it or pass it?" I said, "If he's open, pass it, and we'll win." It worked.
Go for the win.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, all right, going into this, your senior season, what do you think the areas of your game that have improved the most since your freshman year?
I would definitely say my strength and my athleticism. I've been working pretty hard with my athleticism with my trainers. Credit to Coach Stacy and Kale Fasoni. They've been getting me right in the weight room and getting more athletic and stuff like that. And I think I've become a better leader as I've grown, just kind of talking to the guys and stuff like that. And I feel like my job this year is to elevate everyone around me, take their game and make it better.
With you being a senior now, stepping into that leadership role, you've always kind of been a leader, but talk about just that process from last year to this year. You had 5 guys in front of you that were they've been there for a long time, established guys. Talk about you being that established guy now and assuming that role.
Yeah, just got to make sure the guys, we got high energy every day in practice. Like Coach said, every day is a championship game. And if it's a practice, it's a championship practice for a championship game. So just bringing high energy, communicating, and really so far the guys have done a great job. I think we've had four championship practices so far where the energy's been really high. Everyone's been talking. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes of everyone going at it. So it's been really fun so far.
That's awesome. And the key right now in this early part is buy-in. Like everybody has to buy in order for this to work for you guys. And I think that's one thing that you've done a great job of over these last few years is getting everybody to buy in. Everybody on the entire roster from top to bottom. Even the guys that are on the bench, they're involved, they're energetic, they're active during the games. It just that stands out to me is just the energy of those guys, just how everybody buys in.
They've been a highly motivated group the last few years, and their expectations, have always been high of themselves. So it's easy for us to have high expectations of them and hold them to a standard. And again, it's easy to create buy-in when you're winning. That always helps the case. But we went through a few years where we were struggling, and those are the kind of the forgotten years where some of those young kids that were playing still had to buy in.
That's right.
And it's a lot harder to buy in when you're not getting the results. And thankfully, the results have came for everybody.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that comes from Coach Kinn letting us play the style that we play too. Credit to him. I mean, when you're getting up and down the court and scoring 80 points a game and getting up in people's junk, it's a fun style to play.
It's fun to watch.
Everyone's buying in.
Let me just say that as a media guy, but even as a fan, as a basketball fan, I love watching you guys play. It's an unselfish brand of basketball. Everybody's involved, and I like the guys that get dirty. And you guys, every year there's 5 guys on that roster who just absolutely will get down and dirty for the basketball. They'll die for any loose
like watching
ball.
Garrett Prenzel then.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Put him on your list.
Yes.
There's been quite a few guys. We used to call Jacob Weingart the pest because I tell you, he'd get under
everywhere.
everybody's skin.
Yep.
He would come on the floor and get 2 fouls in 2 minutes, but man, he would rile the other team up so bad.
If you like Jaden Myers last year too, Garrett will do a lot of similar things. He's done a really good job so far, and we're glad to have him.
Jaden was one of my favorite players to cover for sure. All right, so I got to ask you, what are some of the things you worked on this offseason the most to kind of improve your game, take yourself to that next level that you want to get to?
Definitely working on getting to the rim. As my athleticism increased, been able to get to the rim a little more, and just working on defense, really. Playing the AAU circuit's really helped out. I mean, I get to guard guys from all over the place. I mean, we're up and down the East Coast, playing teams from Florida, New England, all that sorts of stuff. So just keep being a good defender and just polishing the rest of my game, working on finishing, passing, shooting, ball handling. Ball handling was a big one, too.
Has there been a moment since the season ended last year that you haven't been playing basketball?
No.
That's awesome.
I haven't been with him every moment, but I can answer that for you. No.
Probably sleeps with a basketball next to him.
Probably. And I, Logan mentioned getting in better shape and becoming more athletic, and I give him a lot of credit because that was kind of the real knock on his game early in his career, Could he create his own shot? Could he create enough separation? Could he finish at the rim and be more than just a shooter? And he's really committed to being able to do more than just shoot the basketball.
So what you're telling me is you got your sights set on, you're going to lead the league in scoring again, right?
Hopefully.
All right.
We'll see what
Obviously,
happens.
you're not worried about scoring.
Yeah.
You're not worried about points. But, I mean,
Defense,
you led the
remember.
league.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're making my job so much harder than it has to be.
I'm sorry, man. That's my job. I'm a media guy, You shouldn't have had me on at the same time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Both of you guys on at the same time. It's
I
like,
love it. I love it.
I'm
It's
walking
great.
on eggshells asking questions here because I know Coach ain't going to like some of these.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
But no, looking at this team as a whole, there's a lot of guys that are going to play some key roles for you guys this year. Now, Logan, who are some of the guys that you're going to look to in those clutch moments?
I mean, I trust absolutely every single last one of them. But the Rogos obviously are going to play a huge part so far. Bryce has been shooting it really well. Braden can fill it up from all 3 levels, and he can do that. Brady can get to the rim at will. He's an elite defender. Isaac is one of the best passers I've ever seen, takes care of the ball, elite defender, can get to the rim. Zach can fill it up from all 3 levels. Jack can shoot it. I mean, there's not a – Garrett can score when he has to. He makes his layups. He can hit the occasional catch and shoot 3, even though Coach won't like me saying that. But
So what you're saying is look out.
There's a lot of weapons around. I think we'll be perfectly fine on the offensive end, and that's why we've been focusing on the defensive end, and I trust all of them in the clutch moments.
So I'm a media guy, but I got to fault myself here because I have not kept very good track of stats when it comes to your standing in the Tiffin Columbian pantheon. Where do you sit right now when it comes to the points scored?
That'd be a Coach King question. I honestly don't know.
I can tell you he's getting up there.
It's got to be getting close,
He's getting
right?
up there. Yeah.
It's got to be getting close.
There's a chance for a new leading scorer. We'll see how that shakes out. And
That's not something you're looking to – I mean, it's not something you set your sights on, but it's something that might happen.
If we show up and do what we're supposed to every day and play the way that our team's capable of playing, we're going to score enough points, Logan will score enough points, and those things will work themselves out.
Everything will take care of itself,
That's
right? Sorry, I'm media guy. I love asking questions like that.
That's all right. I will also say
Logan's like, don't ask me that question. That's him.
The all-time assist record is going to come first. That'll come real soon. So.
Okay.
That's the important one.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the unselfish style that you play with, though. You've always been a stat stuffer, and it's not necessarily the points. It's like all across the board. Like, I look at the SBC stats every week, and last year it was really impressive to watch you lead in multiple categories, not just for your team, but in the league. So kudos to you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Outstanding season, and I'm sure you're looking forward to an even better season this year. Now, you've got your expectations of your own, but do you feel any added pressure knowing you're going to have to fill the shoes of some of these seniors who left?
I mean, yes and no. I think there's always pressure and stuff like that, but with the group that we got coming back, I think I trust all of them. I think my job is to elevate their game, and I feel like coach will put us in a good enough position defensively, turn our defense into easy offense, and the style that we play is fun, and it's easy to play when you sit down and just buy in and play hard. So, I mean, yeah, there's a little pressure, yes and no, but I think we'll be okay.
All right, fair enough. Well, hey, I got to turn it over to Coach. You got any shout-outs? Anybody you want to give a shout-out to right now? Any assistants you want to kind of give the floor? Hey, there we go.
I guess there's one.
Asher right here, ready for his shout-out. Cameo, up close and personal.
Yeah, he's interested in seeing what this is all about.
What's up, buddy?
Say hi.
Here, you want this?
Say hi.
All right.
No, but our whole coaching staff does an outstanding job. We've really kind of coordinated to like an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, almost like a football approach with Coach Garcia and Coach Beaston. Coach Weingart's kind of the forgotten guy with the JVs. He's done such a good job developing some of these guys and getting their skills to where they need to be. And Coach Boggs has helped us out the last few years as well. My first couple years here, it was a struggle to get coaches, and I went through I think 3 freshmen, 7th grade, and varsity assistants in 3 years. So that was a little tough, but through it all has been our 8th grade coach, Don Fursler, as well. So, I can't forget about him and what he means to our program, and just the stability at that position where I don't have to always worry about it. I teach the middle school, so it's easy to help out with stuff. But having him and, trusting him to take those guys, it makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah, I would love to stack huddle hours watched of our coaching staff against every other coaching staff in Ohio, because we got to be up there, because every time I walk downstairs, my dad's watching film. I know Coach Kinn's watching film 24/7, and I know Coach Garcia's watching it all the time because Isaac's watching it with him all the time. So I would love to see that stat, because our coaches put in a great amount of time, and it's a huge reason why we've been so successful.
Well, I mean,
try to leave no stones unturned.
Exactly. That's kind of the approach. That's been the approach with you since the beginning, man. Just make sure you, approach it with, attack the details.
That's right.
Details are the most important thing. Set the foundation early with the defense. That's really, honestly, when you said that perked my ears up a little bit, because I expected you guys, obviously, to come in. When you said you haven't touched a basketball in 4 practices.
Well, not that. The first practice,
we haven't touched it that much, Coach.
Hey, there's the honesty.
Well, that's the guy who scores the ball. Of course, we can never touch it too much. He gets it enough in the off season. He doesn't need it at practice.
But no, that's always been kind of your MO there, and that's, I think
it's what we need to do to be successful as we can and reach our potential. And I think our guys would agree with that. At the end of the day, they realize offense is more fun, but defense is going to be what gets us through those tough stretches when shots are falling.
That's what I was going to say. That's the mark of a championship team, and I really feel like over the last few years, you've established that expectation within the program where it's not just coming from you, it's coming from the players themselves.
Yes.
It exudes throughout that program. Everybody's buying in, and it's not you expecting this. It's everyone around each other. There's expectations for everyone. And, guys are keeping themselves in line, but also helping keep teammates in line.
Yeah, and when they can hold each other accountable and they can make sure that each other get there, and, they may be not feeling great and just lifted in the morning, but we got to shoot out in the summer and they're tired. And when they get each other there and when they hold each other accountable with what we're supposed to be doing, that's when good things start to happen.
Absolutely.
That's another great thing I love about this team. I think I've been yelled at by like 5 different guys already this year. And when they can hold us accountable, really that's the best teams, is player-led teams.
That's huge, to be able to say what you need to say when it needs to be said.
And all our guys respond to it as well.
And there's no, it's not a criticism. It's not a negative thing. There's no negative tone. It's, hey, we're doing this because we all want the same thing. We're all on the same page. We all have the same mission here. So, Logan, any shout-outs you want to give?
No, just the coaching staff.
Coaching staff?
Yes, sir.
Any time in the off season you spend with any trainers? Anybody you want to give any shout outs to?
Oh yeah, Coach Stacy, Kale Fasoni for sure, like I said, and then my dad as well. He's been in the gym with me a lot ever since I could shoot a basketball.
Bill? No.
And Coach Kinn has been working us out since last couple I think since football really got into the swing of things.
Yeah, probably middle of football.
Coach Kinn's been in there.
These guys handle most of it themselves.
Oh, he was talking to me about basketball in June.
Yeah, doesn't stop. Yeah, that's what our job is.
It's all year round.
That's right. I love it. The passion, I can feel it right here. I'm really excited for this season. December 2nd, folks, we dropped it here. That's our first game. You have to wait for the rest of the schedule, but our first game live from Tiffin Columbian Gymnasium, the Tornadoes versus Norwalk on Heart of Ohio Sports. So make sure you tune in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot. Absolutely.
Coach Travis Kinn, Logan
it.
Beaston. Once again, this has been the Coach's Corner live at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. Make sure you share the video if you've made it this far. Like, follow, subscribe on all of our platforms. And folks, thanks again for tuning in right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Have a great night.